Scrap Talk Live with Leslie Harvey, a new addition to the Just Jaimee Storyteller magazine. Today, we are talking with Andrea Gray. Hi, welcome.
Thank you. I'm so happy you have me here.
I'm so glad
you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you're an 80s gal. Grew up in the 80s.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Nice.
Technically, I like to call myself a 70s girl because I got 16 days of them.
Okay,
So,
nice.
but I lived all of the 80s, every single bit.
Absolutely. What was your favorite part of the 80s?
Oh, gosh, it has to be the games. You know, from Nintendo coming out to just all the fun things that we used to be able to do. And love the music. Absolutely. The music.
And so we talked a little bit about your scrapping timeline, you know, how you got started, when you got started, you know, what it kind of looked like, you know, and how it's progressed over time. And, you know, when I read that you hated the look of your old layouts, you know, I could totally relate. I mean, even as recent, well, I wouldn't say recent, 10 years, looking back at my wedding album, it's just like, oh my gosh, you know. Ooh, I wish I had those old photos back so I could re-scrap it, you know? So, you know, what would you say if you could like go back and completely redo something? What would be your one redo? Or even if you would.
What? I'm sorry.
Or even if you would redo something. I mean,
yeah, I think I'm the kind of girl that that likes to be okay with how things are. I may not ever go back and do them, and I thought about them when I started really progressing in my traditional scrapbook style and getting more really creative and using a lot of modern product. I really thought, oh my gosh, I have to redo these. These are awful to look at. And I thought, you know what? No, because not everything needs to look like it looks when in the moment that you're at right now.
Sure.
You know, it's like clothes. We look back at, you know, 20 years ago and we go, that was awful. But at the time, it was the best thing ever.
Sure. Absolutely.
So, yeah, being not the family historian or anything, but being the person who documents our lives, I am okay with how they look because that's what the style was. Those are the supplies that were available, the little toppers that all you had was just a thing that said hiking fun, you know, with the white background and the cute little, you know, stick figures, and you know that's what we had.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with the nostalgia of those things now.
Good
where
for you.
I wasn't before, but come to love them.
And you also talked about, you know, all of your 12 by 12 albums, which, you know, that's awesome. And then some of the other things that you like to do, like watercoloring and embroidering and stuff like that, and do it yourself stuff. So do you find yourself incorporating those other like interests that you love to do? Sorry.
I heard him revving up back there.
So do you find yourself incorporating those other talents and other interests into your scrapbooking?
Very much lately. Yes, very much. I've started watercoloring in my scrapbook pages. It's rare because the watercolor thing is a bit messier and my space is a little limited. So I do sometimes want to pull them out, and sometimes I'll just, when I'm feeling like watercoloring, I'll just make a couple of things and then insert them later. But so I'm trying, but I do keep those things pretty separate.
Sure.
Yeah.
Cool. And then we talked about a little bit of the different styles of scrapbooking. So digital, physical, traditional, those type of things. And I loved that you said that you had talked about, you know, that you dabbled in digital by being a graphic designer, and then, but you kind of felt like, I mean, I really was interested in how you said that you felt like even though you were behind a computer all day, that by doing digital scrapbooking, you didn't feel like you were getting that break, or that you were, you know, basically, I mean, I kind of feel that way too, because as a graphic designer, it seems so easy to jump into digital scrapbooking because it's right there. You're already sitting at your desk.
You know how to do it.
But
there's no learning curve.
Right. But there is a sense of, removing yourself from the day-to-day or the everyday stuff, and sitting down and, being able to do the art physically.
Yes.
And I almost wonder if it would be interesting to see the dynamics between a physical person that does a lot of physical stuff daily. If they like to do digital, I don't know.
Yeah.
But
they might. Yeah. Because it's something different for them.
Yeah.
For me personally, it became a matter of, I need to touch the paper. I need to feel, I want my fingers to be sticky from glue sticks. I want, a mess on my desk. I want, only for when I'm working on the project though. After the project, clean it up before you get to the next page. Okay. Let's just make that clear. But yeah, I need to layer. I need to feel dimension and, feel the texture of things. And because traditional scrapbooking or paper scrapbooking was such a huge part of my life since 98 that, 8 years later, I just thought, well, I'll try something new. And it just, I probably did a dozen pages and they're great. And I love them. And I learned more about Photoshop. And I learned more about layers and, all the different tools, the magnet lasso and, all that good stuff. But it didn't feel like fun to me.
Sure.
It felt like work.
Sure.
And work is not fun.
Well, but then that also then leads into the fact that now because you are, a graphic designer and you've dabbled into that and now, you found your love with the physical scrapbooking that you can now, kind of marry them together with hybrid, print some stuff off, do some stuff on the computer, print it off, cut it up, glue it up, get messy. So that's awesome. That's exciting. Do you find that it takes more time? I mean, do you have to prepare more when you do it that way? Or is it just kind of like at the time, hey, I'm sitting by my computer, I'm editing some photos, let's slap some stuff together, print it off, or do you have to calculate that?
So normally I am pretty much a planner, but with scrapbooking, it allows me a lot more freedom. So I will, on a whim, just hop over to my computer, grab my Silhouette, plug it in, and because I need something.
Sure.
I typically will not spend a lot of time, sitting on the Silhouette, cutting out a bunch of stuff. It's like I just do it when I need it.
Sure.
So,
awesome.
Yeah.
Very
it allows
cool.
me a little bit of spontaneity.
Yeah. Right. Awesome.
Yeah.
Really cool. And then you talked about, we talked about art journaling a little bit and how you kind of felt maybe a little uncomfortable, but that you might start digging into it with this whole, note taker's Bible journaling. So that's exciting. That's
so excited about that.
That's
I'm like
fun.
stalking the UPS guy because I want this Bible to come so quickly.
Well, and you guys are killing me because I just want to go buy one today.
I know. And you haven't been able to find one.
Well, I mean, I found them on Amazon, but I can't push that button yet. Just gotta, and it's inspiring me to figure out my own way of doing something because, the first thing I want to do when I see those really cool pages is, okay, I'm going to go do a really cool page too. So this is really forcing me to think outside the box and try something new. So, exciting.
And that's uncomfortable sometimes. So, definitely starting to get more of that art journaling in and being a little messier.
Yeah.
Which is not my style. Not my style at all, but I love looking at other people that are good at it.
Yeah. It's fun. It's really neat. And I'm excited to see, I've really been excited to see gals take some of the scrapbooking supplies, like the pocket cards, and incorporate that. So that's exciting too. So,
I know.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we talked a little bit about, your two boys, and, how you incorporate them. But I also really liked that you said that I am not shy about scrapbooking myself. Yeah. That's awesome. That's great. And do you, so I noticed that you also talked about, taking photos of like your favorite pair of shoes or things like that. And then so because you're the one behind the camera, and I see this a lot, especially in my mom's photos, when I dig through photos of us as a child, mom's never in them. And, it's a rare occasion where someone else had the camera and happened to get a picture of mom, and she hasn't trashed those already. We have a few of those. So do you, intentionally try and get some photos of you? I mean, I know there's some gals out there that like will set the camera up on a tripod and set it up to where, you know, it's set up on a timer so that they're getting in the picture. I mean, is it intentional? Yes. Do you try and get your action? Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. And the purpose is, as I lost my grandmother a few years ago, I was able to get some of her things, which were, you know, journal entries from her wedding album, and letters that her and my grandfather wrote back and forth to each other. And I thought I should have known these things.
Right.
You know, I would have loved to have known these things earlier. And I don't want my future generations to not know who I was.
Right.
Not that I'm like, you know, the most important person and they need to know who I am, but more of a, you know, this is how I felt about you. And this is how much I enjoyed the stupid sound that you make when, you know, when you run down the hallway. You know, those are the things I want, because it is our perspective. It's my perspective only, not exclusively. I do like to get them involved in some of the journaling and stuff. But I want there to be a history.
Sure.
I don't want there to be a question like there is, you know, with me and my, you know, family members that are not with us anymore. You know, who were you? And how did you feel about being a mother? How did you feel about having grandkids? How did you feel about, you know, losing your husband at, you know, an early age?
Right.
You know, those things to me, super important.
Right. And I think a lot of times when we think about those things and, you know, by journaling in our scrapbooks, it becomes more than just a picture book. It becomes, you know, that life story. And I really think that, you know, we don't necessarily hear it a lot because we're in the scrapbooking world, okay? But when, you know, people are asking me about the pocket source, you know, families or friends or whatever, and they're like, what is that? And it's like, well, it's a scrapbooking website. And they're like, oh, scrapbooking. And it's like, you know, I love the way that things are changing, and it's more of storytelling, documenting. I love that fact because that is important. And when you when you start to explain that to other people, you know, it's not just about, you know, the stickers and all the, you know, silly buttons and stuff like that. When you talk, especially when, you know, I can get my scrapbook and say, this is my scrapbooking. And they're like, oh, wow. Okay. I get it. I get it now. That's really cool. Yep. So I'm really excited about how that's changing the whole idea of it. And can we come up with a different term? Let's think of a different term. Let's get rid of scrapbooking.
Exactly. Because when I look back at my grandmother's albums, there's a picture and it says the location and the date. Right. And maybe it says who is in the picture. It's like, what were you doing there? How long did it take you to get there? Was this somewhere close by your house? Did you take an entire day trip with the family? Like, I want to know.
Right.
You know, and it's my desire to know these things that makes me hope that future generations will desire the same things.
Right.
You know, like my kids, I hope they love this.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, to see their parents as itty bitties.
Yeah.
You know, and all their silliness.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
That's awesome. Very cool. Let's see. I hear an echo. Do you hear it?
A little? Nope.
No? Okay, good. So, and then we talked about, I asked you, how did you see your scrapbooking, you know, from maybe a year now or even later? And, you know, obviously in a perfect world, you know, you would love to be selling your own designs and, you know, being famous, maybe.
Oh, no.
Not working full time or, but being more creative.
Everyone wants to get paid to do what they love.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know? Absolutely. So that's kind of exciting. I'm excited to see, some of your ideas and see you expand and do some fun things.
I like the idea of design teams that kind of get yourself out there and you start to take other people's things and see them differently. It's the whole idea of marketing, which, goes right along with graphic design in the world where I was, which, you're selling the story to somebody,
right.
and and I enjoy, I love sharing, so, and inspiring. And those are my two main goals, is to let other people know you don't need to own every single kit. You don't need to have the $100 paper cutter. You don't need to have every single kind of adhesive. It's like, that's not what's important. Right. What's important is capturing it and documenting it. Sure. And however you do that, do it. Get it done. Don't just scroll and pin. Scrap.
Oh, but I mean, can you agree that, once you kind of get into that whole, let's say you're in a slump or what have you, and you're like, okay, I'm going to jump online and get some ideas. It just makes it worse. It's just like, oh my gosh, I want to do that. And then I want to do that. And oh wait, now I've got to go buy this. And wait, to do that, I've got to go buy that. And I'm just not going to do anything right now.
Yep. That is completely down in the dumps.
Man. And then I haven't done anything. I'm talking about myself.
Be to your death.
It is.
Yeah. It can drag you down. And, everyone says comparison is the thief of joy. And it truly is. Yeah. And to try to inspire people to do what they're good at, and to not, is this okay? Like, if it's good for you, honey, it is good.
Right.
We're okay.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. But it is. Pinterest is oh boy, I don't know. I have a lot of words for Pinterest, but most of them are good because it's a little bit of my nighttime routine.
Sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, and I also love your new process videos that you're doing. Ooh. So, how can people find those? I know they're on YouTube, but, how can we get people to start watching your process videos? Because they are fun.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Retro Hip Mama is how I'm known online. I don't go by any other pseudonyms or anything. I just keep it pretty simple. Retro Hip Mama. And so on YouTube, Retro Hip Mama is how you can just search for me. Lots of process videos, which I still get very nervous about. The filming itself is an interesting process because you're trying to be creative almost like in front of people.
Right.
Which is a little bit of pressure. and then doing the voiceover after I've, compressed and edited and done all this stuff to it, I feel like I'm always running out of time and I don't know what to talk about. And so I'm getting a little more used to that. Yeah. And it's just being on camera, like as taking a still picture, it's much easier because it's one shot. You can make it look how you want to.
And you can take like 100 of that one shot and then get the perfect one. Exactly. Yeah. Right?
We've all mastered the selfie. Let's have Come on now.
Yes. Call me out. Oh my gosh. That's funny.
You know what? But thankfully we have that because again, we're getting in the pictures.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's true.
It is.
That's very
true. Selfie society.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. I am not ashamed.
No.
I am probably the worst. A side subject or getting off track, but I lost my phone for like 2 months. And one of my best friends was like, I finally found it. It was in the car seat, way down in the car seat.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, we were like getting ready to go buy a new one and we finally found it. And then my friend called me and I'm like, how'd you know I found my phone? She's like, girl, your selfies were back. And I'm like, oh my God.
What have I become? Oh my gosh. I even get to the point where I'm like, Gibson, come over here. And he's all, come on. But he will, he sometimes I have to bribe him with a little, something, computer time or something.
But, hey, there's no shame in that. They'll be glad that we have them. Years to come, they'll be glad. That's right. They'll be glad that we have them. Yep. Yes. I wanted to ask you one more thing. If you wouldn't mind, if I put you on the spot, sure. Can you show us something that you're working on right now?
Yes, I can.
Good.
I've been on this personal album thing a little lately, and I have included my last what do you call it? 30 days of lists.
Okay.
And they're in a can we see?
Yeah.
A 6x8.
Oh,
so
nice.
Started kind of an album just a little bit about things about me now.
Cool.
And so just some little things here and there, some lists, and then some things that are gonna or have already been released for Sweet Stamp Shop.
Oh yeah.
But then some other things that I'm kind of super excited about is my I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there. Hang on. You have a friend back there.
Oh,
he's
yes,
playing peekaboo.
We do. Someone who's supposed to be in bed, but this is too exciting.
So speaking of the blog and my online persona, I wanted to, who knows how long I'm going to do this? You know, who knows how long this is going to be something I get to enjoy. And having a little documentation about this section of my life, I thought was something I should do. And my girlfriend used the new app, that bamboo app, that bamboo paper app where you draw.
Yeah.
She made this for me, so I'm like, can I please use that for my scrapbooking? And so yes, absolutely, awesome. She said.
Very cool.
So yeah, and I'm going to do the new 30 days of lists and put it in there. And
fun.
This is just going to kind of be an ongoing little personal segment kind of project.
Oh, that's fun. That's exciting. Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. Well, did you have any questions for me whatsoever? Or?
I'm just excited to see where the Pocket Source goes. It's just grown and grown, and I'm super excited for you guys.
Thanks. Yeah, we started off strong, and you know, we're excited, and we got some new things that we're dreaming up. So
always are, and I love that. You're always thinking about what you can do next, and
trying to
I know
outside the box. So
the readers I know truly enjoy having that space. So thanks for keeping it up.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks again for hanging out with me tonight and joining me on Scrap Talk. And we'll see you later, Chickie.
Cool.
All right. Bye.